after all the issues raised. So I didn't come to Abuja to, at this age, I'm entitled to go and rest. I've done enough. But if I had to wake up to keep appointment in the Senate and do all of the things that the Constitution enjoined us to do, we must not be seen as fully Nigerians. We raise the tempo, then those people involved are afraid, they move around in the night, and then the following day, everywhere is quiet. I don't want to be part of that tradition.
There's a power clash between Senator Adams Oshiomole and Senator Akpabio, the Senate President.
What I'm here to do is not to give a lecture that you are not competent to do, with due respect to you. NNPC has no reputation. Your reputation is for fraud. How can you sit us to our face and you say people want their children to be
because you are a senator does not mean you should sit here and be abusing
you think we are
the whole people in NNPC and us here.
Don't talk like that. Mr. Chairman, we need to make wait. Don't do that. Wait. When the senator has the floor, please allow me to land, and I will land nicely. I listen. I hear you say people want their children to be employed in NNPC. Yes, because it's a house of thieves. And they want their children to benefit from it. Yeah. So let's say those things. Number two. Wait. Allow me to finish.
Senator Adams Oshiomole said that he's not backing down, and he has a lot to say in an interview.
Well,
or is there anything that
what I can say
done?
for sure, and I said it on the floor of the Senate, is that there are two issues we are quarreling with. The first is that you claim that we don't even have right to make a recommendation. And I find that very ridiculous. Because if you make a recommendation, it is up to the person you are recommending to decline. But to condemn us for daring to say we shall report to our Oga, to our president, and then you say you publicly disown us for saying so. Now, who moved that motion? The person who seconded the motion, they were both on the floor of the Senate. He didn't mention their names. That's why I said, how come there is only my name that is mentioned? If the issue before us, I played back the conversation that day in full. He said there are two issues. I should speak to the issue of bench warrant. Bench warrant motion was moved by Senator, this guy in Labour Party, formerly in Afghan.
Senator Nwoye.
No,
Tony Nwoye.
not Tony Nwoye.
Senator Ume, Victor Ume.
Victor Ume moved the motion, and it was seconded by Senator Nwaboyi. And I reminded the Senate, Nwaboyi is a principal officer of the Senate. He seconded the motion. Why didn't you mention his name? Why are you reducing the whole thing, Adams Oshiomole? So clearly, and I said, I understand why. They think, and I think wrongly, that they can destroy my image or make me sound like a controversial figure. And in the Senate President's narrow calculations, he believed that he projected me in the worst light. That is it. And I believe, I'm trying to manage my language. I believe that he doesn't appreciate that the leadership of any institution, including Senate, President of Nigeria, is in the hand of God, not in the hand of man.
Have you become a threat to him?
What paid me sometimes is that Akpabio forgets. Senator Akpabio forget that. I was a founding governor of APC. And I was deputy DG of Bola Ahmed Tinubu campaign that has given us victory. I'm not saying I am responsible for the victory, but that I work for it. And I'm happy we got it. And he's so paranoid about anything that has to do with me. So everybody in the Senate knows that if Senator Akpabio have his way, he will lock me out of the Senate.
Really?
Yeah. Because he has misled himself into thinking that I am probably the devil he knows. All right? And there are many agents he doesn't know. And the level Senate will not be like the 10th Senate. This I can say. It can be. How? Senators are groveling. about his style of leadership. But we try to manage, and I've tried to assure him, look, Mr. Senate President, I am a very fulfilled person. The source of my fulfillment flowed from the fact that my expectation in life was not much. I never knew I can be councillor. I didn't even want to be. If you ask my colleague in the NSC, they will tell you, when we were discussing whether or not to form the Labour Party, I opposed the idea. I said, our business is to be neutral. When politicians form government and they take a wrong decision, it is for us as trade unions to go and fight it. Only to find myself becoming a governor thereafter because of the way I led the Nigeria Labour Congress. Whatever job I'm given to do, I ask God to give me not just the job. Most people pray for opportunity. I ask God to give me courage, and even greater wisdom to do that job to the satisfaction of my constituent. So that is it. The Senate President bias against me is very well known. I will not join in speculating as to the reason for his bias. Many people in that Senate knows. In fact, if I'm going around the floor of the Senate and I go greet certain persons and we have conversations, the man become uncomfortable. He thinks that I will give you this. Senator Yari approached the Senate President that he wanted to be vice chairman of the Senate Committee on Interior. I'm the chairman of the Senate Committee on Interior, and Yari said he wanted to be vice chairman. And the Senate President said to him, so you want to join Senator Oshiomole to be planning how to remove him as Senate President? He said that. But I just laugh it off. There are occasions.
Were you really planning to remove him?
Pardon?
Do you have ambition of replacing Oshiomole?
Excuse me.
Akpabio.
If you understand the way the Senate work, the Senate President is first among equals. He's selected only the person favored by the senators. Remember, if Senator Yari had got the majority, he could have been the Senate President. So it's not about what anybody wishes, it's about who the senators want.
But do you have the ambition of, at some point, because there are issues about those who voted against him or what, I mean, at some point, they're grumbling within the Senate, but you are one, your name has come up, and I've asked you this question before, that there are those who see you and who profile you to become the Senate President.
Well, but I don't know. This is, you are a media man, I can't question your sources or otherwise, but what I can tell you, the irony is that because of some external consideration, I found myself having to support the Senate President. Not only to support him, but to persuade anyone I could to vote for him. And I voted for him. And in Edo, he got all the 3 Senate votes. Because we have to persuade people to look at the bigger picture and all of that. So I voted for him. But I can tell you that within months of of his assuming office, I think within 3 months or so, my former colleague, now governor of Edo State, he came here, who are actually persuaded that we should all support him. And I told Senator Yari, sorry, based on the spirit they call, I will support Senator Yari because it's somebody I had known. We have worked together as a colleague in the same party for a long time. But I told him, on this matter of Senate President, sorry, I'm not able to support you because of certain criteria that we had agreed on, namely that this position be zoned to the South-South. And therefore, I am supporting the Senate President. And I did. And I persuaded Senator Monday to agree that if we don't support Senator Akpabio, people will accuse us of fostering, you remember the tension?
Yeah.
That you have president as Muslim, vice president as Muslim, So if you have the Senate president as Muslim and the speaker as Muslim, before you know it, they will say, yeah, we have actually started the process of Islamization. And on my honor, I offered and I persuaded people to vote for Senator Akpabio. The day of the election, I never do that. I wore his muffler with his portrait to indicate that I am pro Akpabio. But
today,
like I said, 3 months later, my governor came here and said we should go and see the Senate president. I said, no, it's too late. I've been there a couple of times. I'm always told he's not around. Okay. He said, no, let's go. I felt for someone who has always respected me, I should also accord him respect. Okay, let's go. He drove, 2 of us. We went to his house. And I was sure when I saw him, he said, oh, Adam, thank you. I said, what is the matter? He said he was told that I was attending a Northern Senators meeting who are planning to remove him. I said, who are the Northern Senators meeting who are planning to remove him? I asked him. And he mentioned some names. And I said, Mr. Akpabio, I have told you, you were my colleague also. You should know me. If I come to the conclusion that I will support those who are opposed to you, I will do so in the daytime. Why will I hold a nocturnal meeting when you cannot do me anything for planning anything I want to plan that is within the law? It is lawful to remove a Senate president following the provisions of the Nigeria Constitution. And Senate presidents have been removed while they are seated. So why will I have a secret meeting with Northern Senate?
I thank you for making it possible for me to be a member of the Public Accounts Committee. And I want to assure you that in all my actions, I bear in mind the fact that it is through your privilege that I am a member of any committee. And I will do nothing that will be a source of embarrassment either to Mr. President as the presiding officer of these hallowed chambers, or indeed to any of my colleagues. I thought it is settled in law that before decisions are taken, when allegations have been made, that the other side is heard. The least I expect from my distinguished colleague with whom we are laboring together to discharge our obligation is that before conclusions are taken, before motions are raised, I should be properly accused if there is an allegation against me to speak to it. Between yesterday and today, nobody has said anything to me. I am not aware that this Senate makes decisions on the basis of edited reports. And for me, sir, it will be a sad day if what is reported form the basis of Senate decision and not the entire gamut of the procedures. In that committee, we have a principal officer of the Senate, Senator Nwabui. He's seated there. I am not the mover of the motion to issue bench warrant. I notice that it is only my name that is put here. And I think I do understand why it is what I said that is singled out. Number 2, I hold the view and I've done my best to defend our collective image. And I am shocked that the House leader referred to my reactions and not what I was reacting to. Could I just be walking on the street? For many of you know me, I have never been a guest for psychiatric evaluation. We sat there on your orders to invite the NNPC to explain the numbers that amounts to about 210 trillion naira. And he had been invited over and over and over, about 9 times, as enumerated by distinguished Senator Nwabui, a principal officer of this House. And in all these 9 invitations, Melekeri, former group managing director, refused to show up. And the guy who spoke yesterday, the former chief financial officer, he was invited to explain the audit. I think it's an opportunity, Mr. President, to remind us that what you ask us to do in accordance with the provisions of the Nigeria Constitution is that NNPC auditors, not Senate auditors, NNPC approved auditors submitted a report that shows that they have not accounted for 210 trillion naira. I use the word accounted for. This is not my findings. They transferred this report to the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation in accordance with the extra provisions of the Nigeria Constitution. The Office of the Accountant General of the Federation referred this to the Public Accounts Committee. Between the previous chairman and the current chairman, these people have been invited several times and we did not have the benefit of seeing them. So yesterday, taking this background into account, the former immediate past finance officer or financial controller of NNPC was asked to speak. To the audit report, not Oshiomole's report, to explain, because the auditors appointed by them, not appointed by me, says that they did not account for 310 trillion naira. This gentleman stood there and was attacking the integrity of the Senate. And that is why, even if the whole world condemn me and God uphold me, I am free. And I will be faithful to my duties. Now we ask him to take the oath based on the procedures not established by me. Rather than speak to the issue of 210 trillion, he said something like this: no money is missing. Distinguished Senator Ogu, you are my very good friend. I would like the benefit or even the privilege of Mr. President hearing my side before I am crucified. He said to us, make your own colleague, the people you found worthy and fit to man the Public Account Committee. He said to our face, Mr. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Public Account and Senators, you, that is the senators, do not have the monopoly of patriotism. And we talk about NNPC as if we are the only patriot. He went on, it is you, senators, who recommend your children for employment into the NNPC. And he went on and on and on, attacking each and every member of that committee. And at that point, I said, please, Mr. Chairman, let him stop. I am shocked that the highly respected leader of the Senate,
NNPC is a very mega company in the world, not only in Nigeria. Anything that happens to NNPC happens to all Nigerians. Our income comes from NNPC. 90-something% of our income comes from NNPC. But, the foreign exchange component of it. The leader have just shown that he's leader of the Senate, because it is not good for any committee or individuals to criminalize a big company like NNPC. It's unacceptable by all of us. It is not acceptable at all, because this is a life wire of the economy of this country. I also want Comrade, His Excellency, Comrade Adams Oshiomole, to withdraw that statement. It will make good to this Senate that will be asked to withdraw that statement publicly, so that it will be on record that he withdraws the statement. He was a good governor, a good legislator, but possibly it's a slip of tongue. It's not good to make such statements in a public place, because our future, my future, your future, the leaders' future, all of us, our future lies in this country. We have no other country than this country. I transact business internationally, and I want to be respected. Please, Mr. President, not only in speaking on rhetorics here, I would like you to call on Adams Oshiomole to just withdraw the statement quietly, so that we can be on the same standard. There are procedures for any committee to do something. If a committee you are chairing or you are a member of are going astray, you call them to order and give them direction of the rules. Let them follow the rules. So there's nothing wrong in summoning anybody or issuing warrant of arrest, but it has to be done properly by the procedure of the